Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we have come to the two hells here in the Bhagavatam. One is Shukarmukha. This hell is for a person who inflicts pain on an innocent person, administrators particularly, and the government representatives, kings. They punish an innocent man. Whoever punishes an innocent man in a position of authority has a hell for him waiting. Particularly punishing a saintly person or a Brahmana. Here we refer to Brahmana not by birth, by qualities. So that person, just like you have the coconut grinder, correct, or sugar cane, you're squeezed out between that. It's terribly painful. Another hell is here. This hell is known as Andhakupa. And here is like, we have insects, mosquitoes, so many living entities. Unconsciously, they may, sometimes trying to sleep, they don't allow you to sleep. One mosquito in a room will keep you awake all night. But there is no sin for that. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's just searching for his food. But if you give pain to other living entities, because you are of developed consciousness, because you have a discrimination, you have independence, you have free will, which is quite developed, and you misuse that, and you give pain to another living entity, be ready. You will not be allowed to sleep. There is Andhakupa. All these living entities will attack you, and you can't sleep. So there's a different kind of hells. Now when somebody hears that, how do you handle that information? There are different ways people will handle. Suppose you go to somebody, give the hells, the list, the crime. Every action is equal opposite reaction. Reaction is there. Somebody may escape the government laws. That's fine. If he's clever, many people do that. But if you escape the laws of the Lord, then you will be severely punished. That you cannot touch also. Therefore, those people who are advanced in consciousness are very careful not to break any laws of the Lord. And we have again and again said, fundamentally laws of the Lord are in four principles. Dyutam, Panam, Striyam, Shuna. These are fundamentally the four laws. Everything is just a combination or the result of breaking these laws. Now, coming to the picture, how does somebody deal with this information? You go to somebody and say, my dear sir, behave yourself. These are the things which are going to happen. The first thing a person may say, he may deny this is true. Now let him deal with it. Each hell, there is a name. And consistently, you will see the same description of these hells throughout the Vedic literatures. So he cannot deny this hell just like that. He has to deny the whole Vedic authority. And when he denies all the Vedic scriptures, he has to deny all acharyas also which have supported that. There are a lot of acharyas said there is not a word which is wrong. Particularly Bhagavatam. Lord Chaitanya said it's an Amala Purana. It's a spotless Purana. So you cannot. You cannot deny the authority of the Vedic literature. The last work of Veda Vyasa, Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kimva Pare Ishvara. This work is the work of Veda Vyasa, the highest Vedic authority. So you are rejecting the whole Vedic culture when you deny this else exists. So there is no point. There is Prabhupada used to say a very nice argument. He used to say, many people when they have a problem, they close their eyes. The problem doesn't exist. Okay? He takes example of ostrich. He'll put his head inside the water when some animal attacks. It's not going to save him from the situation, but so much fear. Small animals also we have seen, when they're very dangerous situation, they can't do anything. Just close their eyes and in fear pass stool and urine there. That's the nature, it has been studied. In fact, at death time, many people do that. They're so fearful, and Yamudadas given the pass stool, urine, everything. How come? So, this is not going to help. This is not going to help. To deny will not going to help. Just like many people live in a story, there is no death. That will not help you. This is not going to help you. Just like many students, they pass their whole year. There is no exam. There is no exam. When it comes, then they are fearful condition. So it's not going to help you. This kind of denial is not going to help you. There is another class of people. They are very funny. What they will do, they will say, this all is there in the Vedic literature. It's all an allegory. Allegory means, some kind of symbolism. कहाँ है इस दुनिया में, बहुत many people say, सब इस दुनिया में ही है नरक and स्वर्ग. Now sample of that is given. True. Sample of that is there. We also see sometimes ferocious punishments which happened so many times. There were genocides on earth many, many times. So it has happened. But the hell planets do exist. Therefore, by Krishna's grace, ISKCON is building the Vedic planetarium. First, we should, show when we go up, the Garbhodaka ocean is that the first thing people will see the hells, and then they go off. But there are better places to go. So what another first person may reject the Vedic authority, other person may say it's allegory. It's not allegory. You don't go this much detail explaining, give name to each one of them. If at all in the Vedas, Vedic literature is the allegory, immediately after that the allegory is explained. It's not that there are no stories of allegory in the Bhagavatam. There are. Just like there is a story of Puranjana, there are a couple of stories like that. It is immediately it is told. It's an allegory and an explanation is given. If you have any respect for Vedic authorities, you think Parikshit Maharaj is about to die, and Shukdev Goswami is telling him some story. Just like sometimes small children are not sleeping, mother tells, Beta, there was a king, and child slowly sleeps, and there was a queen. Katha is like a very big capacity. Many people have, particularly ladies have it, is said. Katha. Therefore, Veda Vyasa also, when he wanted to teach them the Vedic literature, he understood they will not understand the Vedas. He wrote Mahabharata for them. Stri Shudra Juja Bandhuna. First three. Because they are very fond of stories. The big story. Mahabharata is the big story. But it's not an allegory. It's a fact. But they like to hear by stories. So he narrated the story of Mahabharata for them. So anyway, so people like to hear. They think that this is a story. It's not a story. It's a fact. It's a fact. It's not an allegory. Nobody, no acharyas. We have to take things by the. We have to take things by the authority of the acharyas. No acharya says this is an allegory. All the acharyas, Madhvacharya, Ramanacharya, Nimbarka Swami, Vishnu Swami, Shankaracharya, all agree. This is a fact. It's not an allegory. Hells are a fact. Now there will be one more category. So first person says it's an allegory. Some people say they reject the Vedic authority. One more kind of person now, funny. What they will do? They will do something even more interesting. They will, using the knowledge here, they will do something such wonderful thing. They'll turn around the whole thing. There is something called misuse of knowledge. like astrologers. Not I'm saying all, there are some of them. They will tell person, see, this is going to happen to you. There was, in the Lord Chaitanya's time, there was a person who was quite a landlord kind of person. And when at a time he had a servant who was a Muslim, and at a time his servant was, did some mischief, he stole something, he punished him. He took a stick and he gave him tuck. He had stolen something. Later, situation changed. That person became the king. India was ruled by Muslims for a long time. So this person, when he became a king, he had still that mark on his back, because देखो नीला पड़ जाता है ना, जोर का डंडा पड़ता है. So one day his wife saw that mark, and as wives are affectionate, she got very hurt. He said, "Who did this mark to you?" He says, "When I was a young boy, my master did it." He said, "You should kill him." He was very attached to his wife. He said, "I cannot kill. See, I did something wrong. He punished me rightly. I can't kill him for that. There's nothing. There was no. It's too much if I do that. Okay, if you cannot kill him, do one thing: convert him." So finally, by his good fortune, he meets Lord Chaitanya. He was quite an elderly person by now, and Lord Chaitanya had he was in the mood to deliver everybody in this world. So, please give me advice what I should do. He said, "Do one thing. It's a good opportunity for you. Go to Vrindavana, sit and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram." And he does that. Okay? And he becomes one of the great followers of Lord Chaitanya. So this can be misused, therefore. So, you can tell somebody that, see, somebody can say, "See, this all happened by me. I did a sin. What should I do?" And we can give him some ferocious prayashita. Prayashita are also written in the Vedas. But you can misuse that. And sometimes in another way, misusing is that you can extract money out of that person. I will do some homa for you. Many people do that. They have some problem. They say, "No, this graha has to be done shanti. He gave me 50,000. And many of them have become millionaires by this. It's like a very good profession it has become. So this may be, the information of the hell can be misused also like that. There's another thing people can do is that, this is very interesting. This Bhaktivinoda Prabhupada says that. He says, when my disciples, because Bhaktivinoda Prabhupada, I told you, was the living encyclopedia, very, very learned personality. This whole Krishna conscious movement is gone we have. It's taken birth because of him only. And he told his disciples once, if any one of you becomes Sahajiya, you'll be more dangerous than a demon. And let us understand this. You know that Kamsa, when he kills the 6 children, when he's about to kill, today we're reading that and analyzing this point. When he came to kill the last child, 7th was miscarriage, last child was actually a Krishna, but he was shifted, that. When he came, he did not get a boy, he got a girl in his hand. And his mother said, "Please don't do this. You have already killed my 6 children. And that is because of your bad association. I don't blame you. But don't do now. It's a girl. I promise you this will I'll marry to your own son itself. Don't kill." They are brothers and sisters, Kamsa and Devaki. She was pleading with him, "Don't kill this child." But he was merciless. He took the legs and as usual, he threw it on wanted to throw it on the rock to kill the child. But it slipped from his hand, and that is how the Durga manifested. Now, and the Durga told him, "Fool, don't be so cruel to your sister. Take care. And the person who's to kill you is already born somewhere, don't worry." So now Kamsa got a shock of his life, because he was acting on an Akashvani he had heard, and he thought the Devatas don't cheat, but he said the Devatas also cheat, I didn't know. And then he got a shock, and he released his brother and sister, and he gives them Atma Jnana, that we are not body, we are spirit, soul. So don't feel bad for your children, because the children have never died. And what is more interesting, he says everything is destined. So actually I didn't do any sin. They was destined to die. So this is called misusing knowledge and coming out of your responsibility. You can say, actually, I didn't do sin, no? So this all punishment is for the people who did sin. Sin was done for my body and it was predestined. So I am not to be blamed. He gives this Atma Vidya. He's trying to convince his brother, his sister and brother-in-law that, see, I didn't do any sin. It was all predestined. That death was predestined. So this is very dangerous philosophy. Very, very dangerous philosophy. By this, we can try to come out of the responsibility, which is not true. You cannot. Many people say that it was not predestined. I drank liquor, it was predestined. I murdered him. Then suppose you go to the court and you go to the judge, or you go to Yamaraj. Yamaraj says, so you get Andakupa, you get, Maharaurava, you get Raurava, so many names. You see in front of you. One person comes, is a queue actually. And he says, yes. And he has nothing in his heart bad for you. He said, yes, what all he has done, read the list. What is his name? Who has the list with him? Chitragupta. He'll read the list. He did this, he did this, he did this, he did this, he did this. So, okay, first Andakupa, then Maharaurava. Kalyuga people means all, one by one, we have to go to all of them. It doesn't look like one which we have not done. And then, next, and you see he's crying, they're putting him in kadai, they're boiling and cooking him. And the next, that's what's going to happen. But instead of that, you go to Yamaraj, see, all was predestined. I didn't do anything. You didn't read Bhagavad Gita. Not only that, very funny thing is, you try to educate people. People have already twisted the meaning of Gita. So you try to tell them, you didn't read Gita. Gita says, no, everything is predestined. And then they have twisted the meaning also to justify their activity. No, sir, this will not help you. No, I am not the body. So smoking was done by the body. It was not done by the soul. So I didn't do anything. And it was anyway predestined. This kind of excuses will not help us. We have the degree of freedom and we are misusing and we are responsible for that. So we cannot escape punishment by these kind of funny things. Nothing will help us. So what do we do then? Okay? In fact, at the end of this Bhagavatam, when Parikshit Maharaj hears the full narration, now just started, it is 26 or 28 kind of hells, all with names, which frightens us. Names are also there. Yamaraj is going to say Andakupa. Name is there. So when the description is over, Parikshit Maharaj was a great king and a very saintly personality. He says to Shukadeva Goswami, my dear master, how do you save people from this? So Shukadeva Goswami gives 3 levels of answers one by one. First he says they can do prayashita. Okay. The second thing he says, but Parikshit Maharaj rejects it. He said, my dear spiritual master, I have been a king, I punished so many people. But I see after I punish them, they again go back to the same tendencies because their heart is not pure. They continue to do sinful activities. Then next he says that maybe they can do something. Shukadeva Goswami says, yes, he's an intelligent disciple. He said, another thing can be done. You can cultivate knowledge. Just like you hear about this thing, understand I'm not body, I'm spirit, soul. Understand that human life has a mission to purify, go back to God. Understand. Try to cultivate knowledge. But again, Parikshit Maharaj says, this is like, we have the forest, there is a fire, but the roots are still in the ground. So when the rain comes, again the trees come back. So by cultivating knowledge, or sometimes you deforest the trees, you cut the trees. Where nobody cuts and pulls the roots out, it's not easy. Roots are very deep. You think you killed the tree, you're not. When the rain comes, the trees come back. Correct? The roots are there, the plant many times come back. Many times you cut the tree and the roots are there. After some time, if the water comes, the tree. So you may cultivate knowledge that I should not do sinful activities. But again, when the favor, so you may be coming out of the sinful activity for that moment. It's not good. But again, when the favorable situation comes, the desires, sinful desires, again fructify. And we again do sinful activities. So Shukadeva Goswami knows. So therefore, acharyas also reveal to your capacity. You have to be careful to get the highest from them. So then he says, very interesting, he says, yes, kechit kevalaya bhakta Vasudeva parayanaha agam dhunvansi kasena niharamya bhaskaraha. He says, Kechit kevalaya bhaktya. That is the most rare. Vasudeva Parayana, who becomes so attached to Vasudeva, Krishna. So he now proposes bhakti as a marga. Okay? Then, how does it work? When you take a bhakti, means there are Navavidha bhakti, 9 ways, and bhakti begins by chanting the holy names of the Lord, Shravanam, or hearing about the Lord, the pastimes of the Lord. Okay? So how does it act? Agam dhunvanse kasena. This all sinful activities, if you consider like a kohora. And when the sun rises, even sun doesn't have to rise. The first light of the sun is enough, correct? Before sunrise, before the sun comes in the sky, there are first light of the sun. That destroys all kohora. So if the beginning of devotion service itself is so powerful, we say Namabhasa. It is so powerful that all the sinful desires are purified. So therefore, it is said when you chant the Hare Krishna mantra, you clap. It is like you are sitting below a tree. A lot of crows. All the crows fly away. Correct? But then we should not again do sinful activities. Then it is not good. How many times Krishna will forgive us? Then it becomes attached to you. Then you have to suffer. The sinful reactions, you will not be spared. Therefore, we hear this information for a devotee, because Bhagavatam is for devotees. This is not for fools. So when a devotee gets this information, and we are in the conditioned stage, this all helps us. Just like we have the discussion in Bhagavatam of so many things. Why is it not there is only one description of Krishna Leela, which is 1/3 of Bhagavatam? Why it is kept a sandwich? Now before you go to hear Krishna Leela, you should hear so many things. There was the description of Vishwarupa. Why to hear it? Very good. Hear how the Lord created. In your heart, the understanding of glories of God increases. Unless somebody is a mature devotee, he cannot hear Krishna Leela. So therefore, all these things are going to help us. So this information is also useful. Don't think I am hearing only Krishna. No, it's very important. Okay? We should be scared to do sinful activities. Just like somebody does not smoke out of fear. That's also good. That's also good. In the box it is written it will cause cancer, and it doesn't. That's also good. So everything can be utilized. So here, fear is being utilized by Shukadeva Goswami to correct us so that we obey the Lord. Just like, the policeman tells, you don't drive properly, we'll put a fine on you or maybe arrest you also. Okay, I'll not. This says, spare the rod. Prabhupada, this is generally say for the children. Don't touch them and never beat a child. But you can scare them. See, that stick is there. That stick. Okay, I'll not do. So that is good actually. Those hells are there. At the same time, we should not get into the foolish argument to avoid it. Rather, we should take to sincere devotion service and leave it to the Lord. If the Lord still feels that, just like in a rehabilitation camp, or you go to some person and say that don't do bad activity, then he listens. There is no need to then punish him actually. He has already corrected himself. So this correction is not a moment, sorry. This correction comes by realization and by sincere devotion service. The heart is purified completely from the root. All the bijas of the sinful desires can be purified. It is so powerful. Don't think it is a joke. When you're chanting Hare Krishna mantra, it is extremely powerful. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srimad Bhagavatam ki.